Hi everyone. It's been a while since I last recorded, but so much has happened. So much has transpired, and oh, where to begin? Um, so you all, I've told you that I have 3 kids, right, and that I had no contact with any of them. The first one to come back into my life was my son Jared. And, you know, we got back together. I haven't seen him. It didn't happen the way I thought it was going to happen, but it happened. We're in contact. We're in communication. Last night, God led me to send my son, my youngest son, $5. God's grace. And I sent him a simple message, text mom, and I gave him my number. But when God moves, God moves. I received a text from him. He was angry. He was hurt that I had been gone from his life for so long. But he reached out. He listened, and I listened. So it's not going to happen the way I thought it was going to happen. But it happened. I'm in communication with 2 of my 3 kids. And now I just need my daughter. At work, everything was going great. I started making mistakes and I got written up. So at first I looked at it as a bad thing. I'm like, what? I don't understand. And then God reminded me. He goes, what always happens right before a breakthrough? I'm like, Lucifer goes wild. He goes, yeah, this is Lucifer trying to take your attention away from the happiness you're about to feel. He wants you to become dark, and he wants you to pull away. He wants you to go crawl into a little ball and stay hidden. And that's exactly how I was feeling. I was feeling like I needed to shrink myself. And because I was on my way home from work, and something else happened. Someone raised false allegations against me, saying that I did something that I don't do. And this is a woman that I have become friendly with at work. She's a customer. And the person that made this statement is an individual who doesn't like me. She wants to get me fired. She wants me to be removed from the store so that she can continue doing what she wants to do. See, part of the reason that I'm there is I'm holding her accountable. And this isn't like it was with Jade or Carla or Cassie. This girl is manipulative. She reminds me of my ex-husband, a narcissist, because her words, she says one thing, but she does another. And it's like, And I've been keeping my eye on her. And so she doesn't like it. She doesn't like the attention that I'm bringing to her because it's negative attention. Because she's doing bad things. She's stealing food. I don't know what else she's doing, but she's doing a lot of bad things. And her hours have been cut. And she's mad because her hours were given to me. And she's like, no, you can't have those hours back because they're mine. I'm like, you're not doing your job. You're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. And so she has created she's lied. She's bearing false witness. So she's now going to receive God's punishment. And if you guys remember, before Mariah passed away, the way she did in a car accident, God had been showing me signs. Those same signs he's having me share with Kim. She gave me a ride home. God said, let her give you a ride home. Her intention was to take back the $8 in tips that they had to share with me. Because even though I was working in the back, I wasn't supposed to. I was working in the front. And they were splitting the tips amongst each other. And I'm like, hey, you still have to share the tips with me. She goes, but you were in the back. And I said, that doesn't negate my tips. I said, I was working in the front. I went back to help because they needed help. But I was never meant to be in the back. And she's like, and her offering to give me a ride home was a way for her to take those $8 back, because she thought that I would say, oh, because it's a long way from where you live, here's $8 to cover your gas. And God said, no, don't give them to her. I didn't understand why God was having me talk about Mariah to her until she created these lies. God was warning her, don't bear false witness. Don't bear false witness against my child. This is what happens when you bear false witness. You break my commandments. I hope she repents. I hope she drops to her knees and begs God for forgiveness, because that is the only way that is going to save her. So, me and my kingdom spouse, we're talking. It's going slow, thankfully, because I have realized that if we go fast too soon, we're both going to be like yo-yos. But everything is going smoothly. And yes, I'm still in this room, but not for much longer. God said to give him 49 days. And it's funny how he gave me that. So I was on the bus, and there was a car next to me, and the word 49ers was written out. And yes, 49ers is a football team, but 49 years old is my age. And so I knew God was talking to me. And then, Bold for Christ, the next day, had a video that she posted saying 49 days. So I knew God was talking to me. So I watched that video. And, yep, sure enough, things have been changing according to God's plan. And I'm just, because he's allowing me to see now. He's allowing me to see the things that he's put in motion for me. And I'm like, okay. So first my son comes back into my life, my oldest son. Then my youngest son comes back into my life. In between my two sons, my spouse and I have gotten closer. I have 3 children. 3. By the time the third one comes in, we'll be together. And everything's going to be different. Nothing's going to be the same. And I'm so happy and I'm so excited about this new phase of my life that's coming. I am so ready to be a wife again, to be a mother again. God has been bringing children into the store, and I'm just to say that I'm what do you call it? What do they call it right before you give birth? The new moon, half moon, whatever it's called. It's like that. I see babies and I get all giggly, and the babies are so cute. And I can't. I can't explain it. There's something inside of me that is yearning to be a mom again. And I'm willing. I'm willing to be a mom again. And it's not going to happen the way everybody thinks it's going to happen. It's going to be miraculous. It's going to be amazing. And the man that God has chosen for me is willing, the fact that he is willing to pay the price that it would take for God to give me away to him is humbling me. The fact that he would give up his entire old life in exchange to receive me as his wife. It hits different that someone is willing to do that for you. I know I'd be willing to do it for him, and I have. But to know that someone else is willing to do it for me, someone who his life was set, he had his routine, he had everything that he wanted, and he's willing to give all that up to follow God so he can have me. It hits different, you know? It's like, wow, really? For me? And he's changing who he is to be a better man so he can be with me. I'm seeing the changes in him. I'm seeing the maturity, not just in his words, in his behavior, but in his thinking. And he's taking cues from what I'm doing. You see, there is a young man who was really, really good friends with Mariah. And when she passed away, this young man began to get very, very dark. And God led me to talk to him, to confront him. And I found out that he was suicidal. And I didn't go back and go, oh, God, how do you want me to handle this? I let God lead me. I let him flow through me. And I don't know how I do it. I just do it. I've been doing it for so long. It's natural. And so I let the feelings that he's putting in my heart come out, and I don't restrict them. However they come out, they come out. And I went and I stood in front of this kid and I said, what's wrong with you? Why are you so angry? Why are you so negative? This isn't how I met you. Why are you like this? And then, half joking, half serious, he said, it's not fair that she's gone and I'm still here. I should be dead. And that took me back. And I was like, what? No. I said, that's not a solution. That's not an answer. That's permanent. You can't take it back. Once it's done, it's done. Death is not something that you can joke with. And he looked at me and he goes, she was my best friend. We hung out together outside of work. I said, I didn't know that. And he goes, nobody did. I said, okay, I'll tell you what. I'll be your best friend. I will be the one you can talk to. I will fight you. I will play with you. I will do whatever you need me to do to get you out of this. I will be that person for you. And he just looked at me, half believing what I was saying. And after that day, him and I play fighting. Some things I'm not comfortable with, but I'm doing them because that's what God is leading me to do. Because that's what this kid needs. He's young. He's 20 or 19, somewhere around there. He's just a kid, just a baby. But his mom needs him. His mom depends on him. He's the oldest of 6. And it's his responsibility to help with his brothers and sisters. And so God every so often will have him come and talk to me. He's like, can I do a puzzle? I'm like, yeah, here. Because God led me to buy Puzzle Book. I didn't understand at the time, but I was obedient. Now I understand why. Yeah, on Tuesday, I went into work. And he was in the kitchen. And he was about to go do dough. And he started saying, I hate doing dough. Dough sucks. I don't like it. And so I went back there. And I'm like, what's going on? Why don't you hate dough? And so he started talking about, because he goes, do you want to learn how to do dough? Because I don't want to know dough. I'm like, all right, I'll learn how to do dough. Because he knows I want to learn. And I said, okay, so where's the thing? He goes, up there. And I was like, okay. And I said, how often do they change it? He goes, every season. Like, every season? That's a long time to keep. To keep the same amount of dough for every day. I was like, okay. And then he goes, and then you put it in here, and then you do this, and then you do that, blah, blah, blah. And he was going through the motions. And then he goes, and this right here, I hate this. This is the worst part. Just standing here, watching the dough go round and round. And I understood. I pushed my puzzle book over to him, and I said, here. I leave the book over at the front. If you come back here and you feel like this, go grab my book and work on some puzzles. And he's like, but what if you come back and the puzzles are, and I finished them all. And I said, then I'll buy another book. We can always buy another book. But at least this way, you'll be okay. Because it's a head thing. Lucifer will get into his head and start telling him, kill yourself. Nobody needs you. Nobody wants you. You have no friends. Nobody really likes you. But I see him. And I tell him that. I see you. I like you. I told him I wish he was my little brother so I could take care of him. And he goes, I have an older sister. She's 29. I'm like, funny. 20 years younger than me. I didn't tell him that. But God was telling me this is where I needed to be. And the manager was looking. And I'm sure it looked a different kind of way to him because he sent one of his soldiers to come spy on us to see what we were talking about. And it's like, I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm going about my Father's business. And I'm not going to sit there and I'm not going to explain myself to everyone because it's none of their business. If they have a problem with me, they can go to God and ask him what I'm doing. But I'm not doing anything wrong. This boy needed someone. He was in his darkest hour. And God sent him a light to show him the way back. He also likes listening. He's a child of God. We talk about God. We talk about the things of God, about his commandments. That's why he's leaning into me, because he feels the love. When I look at him, I don't see a troubled young man. I see possibilities. I see futures that he has no idea are coming to him. And my Father has me sharing my life story with him, which is why I'm not sharing it on here, because the time is for me to be sharing it in person. A lot has happened. I have changed so much in the last few months. It feels like it's years. Like I look at myself in the mirror and I look like I'm 19 again. And I'm like, how is this possible, Father? How are you making me look so much younger than I am? When people see me, they're not going to recognize me. Not because I don't look the same. They're not going to recognize me because I don't look old. I get carded now. They're like, no, there's no way you're 49. I'm like, yeah, I'm old enough. I'm old enough. And when they see my age, they're like, this isn't you. I'm like, yeah, it is. It's me. So, God had put something in my heart about the struggle a while back that He wanted me to talk about. Sometimes you get so tired and you get so weird. You get so despondent with the way things are that there are times that you want to walk away. And it happens to me too. But then I have to remember all of the things that God brought me out of. I have to remember all of the blessings He's already given me. And then I start to praise Him. And then I start to worship Him. And then those feelings that I was feeling of walking away go away. And I can be myself again. And I can be His child again. When I got into trouble, and then this woman made an accusation against me, I stayed at my father's feet. He wanted me to go out. He goes, go out. You need to pay rent. You need to go and have fun. I'm like, no, I don't want to. I want to stay right here at your feet because this is where I feel safe. This is where I feel love. I don't feel love out there. I don't feel safe out there. And he says, but I have you. I said, okay. Then I need you to show me that you have me. That I haven't walked away from you. That you haven't walked away from me. I asked him for a blessing, a very specific blessing. And it had to do with my rent. And he came through. He came through. And when I got home, I unpacked my groceries, and my doggy has a new bed, by the way. Let me show you. That's his new bed. God wanted me to buy him a new bed. And he said, because you have elevated, so has he. And I'm seeing the healing. His hair is growing back. All the things that God promised me would happen are happening. Radical faith. People thought I was crazy. But I'm now talking to two of my sons. I invited him to come to the store to see me on Friday. That's when I work again. And I'm leaving it to God. If it's in His will that he comes, then he will. I love my boys. I love my daughter. But I love my God with all my heart, with all my soul. For there is no one better than Him. There is no one greater than Him. And one day when you all get to see the fruits that I have been able to harvest for my obedience to my Father, for doing the work that He has put before me, without thinking of myself, without thinking of how it's going to make me look. These men think I am trying, or that I'm having an affair with this boy. I can't stop them from thinking those things. And they're trying to put those same thoughts into my husband to let him think that I'm being inappropriate. But God already had me. God already showed me that He's going to lead him to talk to him, and He's going to lead him to share why I became friends with him, with my husband. And He's going to see me differently. Oh, and he's getting glasses. They're coming in before the 17th. So he's getting new eyes to see me, to see the real me, the God made me to be. So, arrivederci, baby. Arrivederci. Or, as my kingdom spouse says, sayonara, sucker.